So 3 rounds of the F1 season have been and gone. Last time out in Australia it was a Ferrari 1-2, led home by Carlos Sainz. With Max Verstappen DNFing, we finally got to see something that I thought was almost impossible: someone else on top of the podium. This time for round 4, we're headed out to Japan and the Suzuka International Circuit. A fan favourite that over the years has boasted action, title deciders, crazy weather, and Nicholas Latifi forgetting where the track is. To be honest, we probably should have all seen that one coming. Talking of seeing things coming, and this video is of course my predictions for the 2024 Japanese Grand Prix. And stick around to the end if you also want to see Enzo's predictions, plus see how we're getting along in our battle of who's better at predicting this year. But with that out of the way, let's get into my predictions for the 2024 Japanese Grand Prix. Starting off with my qualifying GOAT then for Japan, and I've gone with Charles Leclerc. He didn't have the best time out last time in Australia, coming in 5th place, and I feel like this time, with that Ferrari car looking better, he's really going to want to get back to his qualifying form. We know what he's capable of. He had so many front row starts with Verstappen, and so I think for Leclerc this is one that he'll get back to it. While Carlos Sainz has been great in the Ferrari, I feel like those two are at such a good level that one of them can't stay ahead for too long. Next up then, we have my qualifying fail, and we're going from someone who had a great qualifying last time to a not so good one this time. It's Lance Stroll. Last time out, Lance Stroll was in P9 ahead of both Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. However, for Lance, I feel like one good qualifying is probably enough. Plus with the Aston Martin, I'm still kind of unsure exactly how far off of the other cars it is. And then of course, Lance has never been known as one of the best qualifiers. Next up then, we move into my sneaky good race. Now this is someone who generally has done quite well, but not amazing enough to be driver of the day or anything like that. And for this one, I've gone with Yuki Tsunoda. Yes, I know he's the home driver and people will want to see him doing well, and he'll want to do well also. But the form he's been showing, he's comfortably been beating Daniel Ricciardo, picked up a good number of points in the last race, and so for those reasons, Yuki's going to be my sneaky good driver. Going into my sneaky bad then, and for this one, I've gone with the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. No particular reason other than I just feel like too many things have gone right for Haas recently that something's got to go wrong. And sadly, Kevin Magnussen I feel like is the person who's going to take that hit. With Hülkenberg generally outperforming him so far, it just makes sense that if I'm going to pick one of the two, it's going to be Kevin. Now watch Haas go and pull out a double points finish once again. Moving on to my driver of the day then, and we're going to go with one of the McLarens, and it's Lando Norris. He had a good race last time out in 3rd place, and this is kind of where I think he'll be again. I feel like that top part of the grid, the Red Bulls, the Ferraris and the McLarens are kind of establishing themselves as the top 3 cars, and so for Lando he's got to beat the likes of Leclerc, Sainz and Piastri, probably Perez too. However, that's something I feel that he could definitely do, and given that good result last time out, I think he's going to build that momentum and carry it through into Japan. And then finally we get to my fail of the day, and I'm going to go with Logan Sargeant. Yes, I know it may be an easy pick, but just hear me out. Williams, as we know, had issues with their chassis, meaning they're not going to have a spare in Japan. And so I feel like either one of two things is going to happen. Either Logan's going to crash, which is something that he did last year, that's a very viable possibility, or he's going to be so careful to make sure he doesn't damage the chassis that he ends up being so slow. Think of like Mick Schumacher and Baku a few years ago. And so while on the surface it may seem like a very easy pick, I feel like the reasons behind it are quite justified to have Logan as my fail of the day. And then finally we get to my podium. Now in 3rd place, I've already mentioned it's going to be Lando Norris. I feel like the McLarens are generally doing well, they're trending in the right direction, and I'd pick Lando over Oscar to get a podium right now. Then in 2nd place, I've gone with Charles Leclerc. I feel like I'm really riding this sort of bounce back / really showing the team that he's in charge, coming off of Sainz's win last time out in Australia, and so that's why I've got Leclerc in 2nd. Then of course in 1st, will it be another Verstappen DNF? I don't think so. One time in 2 years is probably enough for the Red Bull team. And so I've got Verstappen taking his win back on top, and even if the Red Bull isn't quite as far ahead, I still think Verstappen will come away with the win. Moving on to Enzo's predictions then, and we of course have the recap from last time out in Australia, and as you can see, it was a really tight one, 16 points to 50. However, I'm going to come clean here. When we were filming, he originally for 18th place picked up Lewis Hamilton, and as he was coming back to give it to me, the doorbell rang, he ran off, dropped the bag, never got to me. And so I didn't want to cut from him picking up the bag to then showing the camera, so I thought I'll just do it again, what's the worst that could happen? And so for this one, while the official point score are 16 to 15 in my favour, Enzo's going to come away with the win because I know he did actually pick up that Hamilton bag first, and I feel like I'd just be cheating otherwise. So on the season, that makes it 2-1 to Enzo, meaning I'm genuinely losing to my dog. But getting into round 4 in Japan, and we have a whole new set, starting off with Logan Sargent in 20th place, Yuki Tsunoda in 17th, clearly Enzo doesn't favour the homeboy. 18th is Fernando Alonso, I'm pretty sure Enzo's picked him low down in every single one so far. 17th, Daniel Ricciardo, 16th is Valtteri Bottas, provided they can actually get their pit stops together. Pierre Gasly, 15th place, Alex Albon is in 14th, Lewis Hamilton 13th, to be fair the way things have been going, I wouldn't be surprised. Charles Leclerc in 12th, a definite shock that would be, and Kevin Magnussen in 11th. Getting into Enzo's top 10, and it seems that the first driver he's going to go for is one of the Alpines, and he's gone for Esteban Ocon. A points finish for them would really be quite something. On to P9, and this time on the bottom row, he's going to pick up Zhou Guanyu. Again, a points finish for Sauber would be a great result. However, like I said with Valtteri, it does depend on them getting their pit stops right, which currently is just, well, not happening. Then we move on to 8th, and it's going to be someone higher up the board, and it's Oscar Piastri. Piastri's actually sitting 5th in the championship right now, and so 8th place is probably going to be a disappointing result for him. On to 7th, and it's last of the bottom half drivers, and it's going to be Nico Hülkenberg. If Hülkenberg manages to pull off a P7, it's going to probably be their best result of the year, I'd imagine. Don't forget though, Yuki Tsunoda got a P7 last time out, and so it's not impossible for those bottom half drivers. And then in 6th place, we have the other McLaren, whereas Oscar Piastri before, it's now Lando Norris in 6th. Again, like Piastri, coming off of that 3rd and 4th place in Australia, I feel like 6th and 8th for McLaren would be disappointing. Into the top 5 now, and it appears Enzo's going for the last remaining Aston Martin, and that is Lance Stroll. Stroll in 5th place might be a little bit optimistic for Enzo, but then again it's not a complete stretch after all, he did finish 6th last time out. We did also have 3 DNFs who would have been in front of him, but still. Moving on to 4th, and the driver going to be selected here is going to be number 63, George Russell. Russell's been outperforming Hamilton this year, and so to be honest, if he did finish ahead of him, I wouldn't be too surprised, and that's clearly the logic that Enzo's going for here. On to the final 3, and it's 2 Red Bulls and a Ferrari, the same dilemma Enzo faced last time out, and this time he's going to go with Sergio Perez taking that 3rd spot. After the first 2 races, if you had asked me to put a Red Bull in P3, I'd have been like, no way. After Australia, however, I could see them finishing even lower, especially Sergio Perez, so putting him in P3 for this one is not unrealistic at all. So just 2 drivers remaining, and it's our most recent race winners. Is Enzo going for a back-to-back Ferrari Sainz win? No, he's going to put Carlos Sainz in 2nd place. Coming off of his win last time out, if Carlos Sainz can manage to get a P2 and keep building points in the championship, showing other teams exactly how capable he is, that's got to go down as almost a win in his book. That of course means that in P1 it's going to be Max Verstappen for Enzo's predictions winning the 2024 Japanese Grand Prix. To be fair, I think he's getting hold of this whole Verstappen winning thing. Let me know if you think it's going to be a different winner or a different podium, if you agree with Enzo's predictions, or if you agree with mine on the right hand side. But anyways, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, do give the video a thumbs up and get yourself subscribed to the channel. But until next time, take care.